brought to you by Demand Lucha. Welcome to the Clark side of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here. This is a brand new episode of Clark Side of the Ring. I'm here with the man himself. This is Mike Clark. Mikey, how are we feeling today?
I'm doing good. As you can see, I'm wearing the CCW referee shirt to pay homage to the Ontario boys. I got to work Joey Janela's spring break, Sandman's last match.
You're looking great in it.
Most people, well, I'm assuming most of you know, I was a referee in the WWF for about a year and a half. And I really didn't enjoy that. But I never wore a shirt like this then.
They had the bow
And
ties.
yes, the blue shirt with the bow tie. And this is the first time I've ever had a black and white referee shirt on, but I saw it in my closet. And I said to my wife, she goes, what are you wearing on? I said, to pay homage to the Ontario Indie Boys for the Sandman. But I'll say this, Ricky. Going back to last week's episode when I said, the haters going to hate. I put a post up of Sandman's last match with all of you in it. Most of the Ontario Indie guys. You know who liked that post? The people who were in the match. Not one other person. Not any of the haters. Nobody liked it. So
Proof on the table.
Yeah, it just goes to prove my point. Anyway, we're gonna do something a bit later, but there's been something that's really been bothering me. I got a lot of DMs this week from wrestlers, a few promoters, because I'm the only one that's outspoken. I am. Whether it's right or wrong, this is me.
You give your opinion and you give it verbally.
I give my opinion. You can listen to me, or you don't have to listen to me. I hear all the time, Mike, you're hammering this guy, you're hammering that girl, Wrestling's inclusive. No, wrestling is not inclusive. And I'm going to explain. We've all been to high school, I would assume, most of us. I never graduated high school. I was fortunate enough to get expelled from Thistletown Collegiate in grade 10 and start working for the WWF. But I'm a rare case. I'm not putting myself over. I'm just telling you the truth.
Are any of the alumni from your school doing better or even near the same level as you? Have they reached any of those same level of fame?
No, I tell you a funny story. So I started in '86 selling souvenirs, as I said, and I was still in high school. The following year, in grade 10, left, and then I went back to grade 10. I got expelled in November, and I started full-time for Jack Tunney's office, and I showed up about 3 weeks later to the high school. I was driving Jack Tunney's Cadillac Fleetwood, and I had the Canadian heavyweight title in the car, and the guy said, hey, what's that? And I came out, and the gym teacher goes, holy shit, you were right. You left, and you became the champ.
Yeah.
Just as a joke. Anyway, talking about this inclusiveness. So you hear all the time, well, like even down at the CNE last year, people were saying, Mike, I shouldn't do the accent because it's kind of going to give away who the person was. But anyway, just said, hey, you can't be like that. You can't talk. I said, what? Wrestling's inclusive for everyone. No, it isn't. It's not inclusive to everyone. I'm going to make this. I made the hockey statement, I think, in episode 1. But let's say you were in high school and you went for your high school football team.
And I did.
Did you make it?
Yes.
You did. But there are people, I'm sure, watching this, and I'm sure some are, that didn't make it. That wasn't inclusive. You try out for your high school rugby team. You know what, David? Or Stan, or Mike. You're not good
Could
enough.
be anyone.
No, I said David, and they're going to think I'm talking about somebody. That just happened to pop into my head. But you didn't make it. Was that inclusive? So why is professional wrestling, a business that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, why is it inclusive? It's not inclusive. So I put on the indie board a couple of days ago a post. No gym, no booking. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm not tolerating this nonsense. You want to be a professional wrestler? I take this business very, very seriously. It is called the wrestling business. This isn't play with my friends on the weekend. I get it. You're brand new. You're 17, 18, and you get booked. And you got to start somewhere. Hit the gym. You should be in the gym while you're training. Like there's a couple of pro wrestlers out there right now. There's one in particular. Hey, I spent 1 year in the business. Okay, hit the gym. He works in a gym. Doesn't work out. And the excuse will be, well, I'm working. So go into work an hour or half an hour early, get a good workout, work at the gym. When you're finished, give yourself another half hour. Give me an example. Rob Fuego actually told me to mention this story. So during COVID, if people remember, they would open it up a little bit, close it, and we're going to open it.
Nightmare.
So there was a Demand Lucha show at Bingham's in Kitchener. And a bunch of guys booked. I know I came with Guerrero Sai. I brought him out here because we went for ribs. And what was that guy's name? He had the light bulb. Nick
Watts.
Nick Watts was there. I think he was playing a medical. The Spanish guy that gave up. My good buddy, I can't even remember his name now. I'm totally frozen.
We can cut it all down.
Anyway, anyway, and Chad Warhead was there, and Tyler, Mike Forte was there. So I don't think Rob really knew he knew Chad, but he didn't know Mike or Tyler Arrow. And so we're a tag team, and Forte was in great shape. So
still is.
Yeah, they're getting ready, and Chad's doing his thing. He pulls out he's got skewers, and Fuego goes, "What are you doing with those?" Well, this is my hometown. Kitchener, be a lot of people. So he looks at Tyler Arrow. Tyler Arrow's sitting there, and he's got these baby blue Dickies pants, like a mechanic would wear, and something else. Fuego goes, "Where's your gear?" "Oh, this is it." "What do you mean?" "Well, it's hardcore. I'm working Chad." And I turned, I said, "This is a fucking tequila fest. What do you mean it's hardcore, you're working Chad?" So then Fuego says, "What's this deal?" And Forte goes, "Well, Tyler Arrow's my tag team partner." And Rob said, "Okay, well, Mike's in great shape. How come you're not in great shape?" "Well, we work different hours, and I don't have a gym membership right now." "Right?" "Oh, he's another guy. No gym, kills himself at Lee's Palace for no reason, going nowhere. So here's how this is going to work. You may get a booking with me. If you show up, it's very apparent, everybody, if you go to a gym or not. You're not getting a booking ever again. You want to come into my industry, mine, and all the other serious promoters around, you're going to earn it. I'm not giving away nothing. The CNE is a big, big deal for people. You've been down there. This is a big, big deal. You want to be a professional wrestler, then you prove that you want to be a wrestler. There's no inclusion with me. Okay? You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to tan. Like there was a guy, Tyler Knox, last year down at CNE. I booked his girlfriend, Leah Sparks. I got a hold of her, and she said, "My boyfriend's a wrestler." A few days in, he was sitting at the picnic table. I said, "What do you do?" "I'm full-time." I said, "Full-time? Full-time what?" "I'm a full-time wrestler." I walked over and hit his bicep. "What do you think? I don't go to a gym?" I said, "I know you don't go to a gym." "Why? Because I don't do steroids?" And Rob Fuego was there. And Rob Fuego's closer to 60 than he is 50. I said, "Look at the shape he's in. He doesn't do steroids."
Looks great.
Yeah. And, Tyler Knox is a good wrestler, but he doesn't make any fucking effort. And I'm not tolerating this bullshit anymore. I don't want the T-shirts, the grunge look. 95% of these guys are in T-shirts at the shows. You should be ashamed of yourself. When you went to WWF shows or AEW shows, everyone in T-shirt, do they come out flexing their chest and showing their arm? Because I guarantee you, all of you, even the ones not in shape, you come out of the shower and you'll do a little promo on yourself, pose and look at your buggy whip arms. But then you got guys.
Buggy whip arms.
Yeah, well, then you got guys like Bryce, Johnny DeLuca, who's in shape, Jax Williams, who's in shape, Jay Blass is getting there, even Jake Constant, the kid from Kitchener.
Yeah, his chest looks way better.
He's got a great shape.
Yeah.
And these other guys want to clown around. So I'm going to tell you, if promoters want to book these people, that's on you, but it's just a garbage wrestling show. If you go out there as a wrestler and a fan can smack the shit out of you, you shouldn't be in this business. And you don't want to know the most shocking thing? You know who's in the best shape in this business? The women. Mm-hmm. You look at the women in Ontario. You got Alexia Nicole, Jody Threat, Sleasia Sparks.
Layla Wild.
Yeah, Layla Wild. Taylor Rising. They're all in phenomenal shape. Yep. Why is that? Why do the women take this so much more seriously than the men? And that's why the women's wrestling is starting to really build up, because I've seen a lot of promotions. It was one out, I think C4 did an all-women's show a couple months ago. It was jammed.
Crushed it.
In some theater. Off the ropes there. Vanessa. What's her wrestling name?
Sabrina Kyle.
Sabrina Kyle did a show. Sold out. They could have had a bigger venue, and they were upset that they booked the venue. The women are surpassed, which is great. Like, I'm all for that. But I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Come on. What's with Hamilton? Like, is there nobody in Hamilton goes to a gym? Like, here's the problem, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody. Well, it'll come across like Rip Impact. He's looked exactly the same for 25 years. He's a gangly-looking guy. He's 155 pounds, never been in a gym. Let me ask you something. Have you been to his gym?
Yes.
So when you go in there, how does it start? Do you start with a workout or anything?
Warm up, before the training
But
starts.
what's the warm up? Because I heard today that Super Kick, Chris Chambers, you're actually doing a workout.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
It's intense.
Hindu squats, crunches, and that's the way your training should be. Because you know what? I'll give Super Kick, and I don't know these people on a personal level. I messaged with Chris Chambers a few years ago, maybe half a dozen messages back and forth. I have no issue. But I look at the Super Kick guys.
Yep.
Look at them. Chambers, Jesse V.
Dior.
Yeah. Who's the other kid, the big kid?
Jack's there a lot.
Jax Williams is there. Taylor Rising's there.
Yeah.
Matt Burns is there.
Yeah.
Even John Tavius when he was there. He's in great shape.
Anybody who's come through that school has looked awesome.
Well, not everyone. There's one
the
kid.
people who have graduated.
The one kid, Shaq. The one kid, I think he was there. Wasn't he John's
Maybe.
partner?
I don't know.
He's brutal. But I'm just saying. But Chambers teaches these kids because he learned from Fuego. And Fuego told me, here's a little fact Rob Fuego told me when he had Squared Circle. Josh Alexander went in there. Years and years ago, signed up, paid for a month, did one class, and never came back. Right?
Jeez.
It's not for everybody. You know, you are what you're taught. If you go into a wrestling school, okay, guys, let's do a couple of rolls. Okay, let's do hurricanranas. Let's do this. Let's do that. Yeah, you can do all the moves. But if you look like your trainer, and I'm not saying Rip Impact's a bad human being, but I'm being factual here. If you saw Rip Impact in the airport, the last thing anybody would think that he's a professional wrestler. And this is my point. You got to look the part. If you want to be on TV, you want to look like the people you grew up watching, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
And you got to make a hell of an effort to do it. And I'm sick and tired of all of this. There's no inclusion.
No.
People can get upset. Oh, this guy wants to. Too bad you want to do it. You know what? You want to do it? Come and do ring crew. See, this is what kills me. Everybody talks about, oh, well, I'm going to do that. And there's many people, hey, I want to ask you something. What? You want to be on a lucha show? Yeah, no, we're going to put you in a mat. No, I'd prefer to be myself. Well, being yourself, you've gone nowhere. Right? So why not try something else? But that's another thing. And that's another topic we can get on. But I just wanted to vent a little bit about the gym, the tan, all that. Like I remember Fuego a couple of years ago. He was doing a thing with the Space Monkey. And they were boiling down to it. And I remember Rob, because Rob's very dedicated to this. Rob doesn't do it for the money. Rob does it because he loves doing it. He's like the booker. And anybody who's working at Demand Lucha, Rob, it's not like other shows where you go in and let's say it's you versus Tomer. And I'm the promoter, right? And I say, all right, Ricky, you go up 15 minutes. There's direction on a Demand Lucha show. Rob says, okay, do this, do that, do that. A lot of times you don't listen, but a lot of times you do. And it was this big blow up with the Space Monkey where Rob was Rob was in the gym every day. He got 10. So he wears his doctor thing, and he took his jacket off and that. And he took that off, and I was standing there. I said, oh, Jesus Christ. He looked like Monday Night Raw. I couldn't believe it. Like, that's how dedicated. You got to be dedicated and want this. Okay? No gym. No bookings. And I encourage all promoters to follow this lead because I know you all think the same thing. We just don't have the stones that I do or the personality that I do to bring it across. No gym, no bookings. 2026 onward. That's how this works for me. But anyway, What else you want to talk
I
about?
want to say one thing in response to that, but then I got like 4 things I'm going to put you over for.
Okay.
So, number one, I used to go to shows and see Rip Impact when I was a kid. He was the guy in the ring, I was the guy in the audience. And I loved Rip Impact. He was the underdog. He was the high-risk hero. And when he won the PWA title, it was a screw job finish, and they ended up taking the title away from him. But that moment was enormous, and that meant a tremendous amount to me. So Rip Impact is very good at the technical abilities of wrestling. He also knows how to get a crowd to love him, without a doubt.
Everybody, I'm not saying he doesn't know how to wrestle.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
I wouldn't go that far because the look means a lot. The look means a lot. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I've never worked with him or anything. I'd say hello. And we had an issue about 10 years ago, but it's water under the bridge. But there's no gym. I can guarantee you there's not a weight in his gym. He doesn't tell the guys, hey, let's do 1,000 Hindu squats, because in his life he's never done a Hindu squat. This is my point. You are what you see. If I'm a driving instructor, right, and you're going for your driver's license, and I'm teaching you that, you're going to learn the way that I teach. You're going to say, well, Mike did this, so let's do what Rip Impact does. He doesn't go to a gym. You know, we can get booked on his show. Well, there's a lot more than his show that you got to do if you want to achieve. If you're happy working once every 3-4 months, and Rip does very well. He's the number one ring crew guy. He's made a career out of wrestling.
HPW sells out constantly.
Yeah, he does. He runs 4 or 5 shows a year, student show. It's packed, no problem. But he's never made an effort, and that's why he's always remained. And here's something that'll blow your mind, because I'm a guy that tells it like it is. So I went hard on Ben Ortman's in the first episode. But one thing I could say about Ben, any pictures I've seen, he looked like he was in great shape.
Absolutely.
His students, on the other hand, now, which is kind of shocking, but Ben was always in good shape.
Always.
I give credit where it's due. I'm not a guy, I can shit on someone for this and give him props for that. Yeah. But Ben always looked like he was in good shape.
Always.
Yeah. So, a Rip Impact, I don't know. He's never changed. Got the gangly look, the long hair, doing this, the same gear. Whatever, man.
When he was in gear in 2005 and I was seeing him wrestle, he did inspire me.
How much did he weigh then?
I was a child. I don't know these things. Anyway, I will throw out a couple of things that I've kind of lived by. The idea of inclusion in wrestling. I have been told from very early on that pro wrestling is for everyone. Being a wrestler is not for everyone.
Yeah, but that's not the way that's perceived by a lot of the wrestlers here.
And I can agree to that.
You know?
Yeah.
No, you're not included. If these promoters want to book, like, look, here's another guy. I'll give you an example. Quan Chang. I booked him many years ago, but Quan Chang's in his 50s, and he's in better shape than 90% of these kids that are a third of his age.
Yeah.
So what's the deal?
Yeah.
Quan Chang in his 50s can go to the gym, but these kids that are 18 and 19 that work in gyms, and, oh, well, I'm working. Yeah, I have no time to work out. And you know who I'm talking about. I haven't said his name. You know full well who I'm talking about.
Just on that point about the gym, one of the pieces of advice early on in my career was if it takes 8 hours to sleep and you need more time, sleep faster. And there's just a reality of there aren't excuses. When it comes down to actually making money and getting things done in this business, there aren't excuses, and you're right about that.
You know, and then these same people, they've been in the business 3-4 years. Oh, you want a shot? Oh, my rate's 80. No. You don't dictate to a promoter your rate when you look like a bag of milk. Like, rate should be on, well, you have me on your show, how many tickets you're going to sell? Now, as we said before, many people say I'm not a promoter because I don't sell tickets. That's even worse, because if I've got bought shows, what do I need anybody on the show? I can book whoever I want, but do I book these Hamilton crumb bums or these Oshawa crumb bums that don't go to the gym? The crumb bums. I'm not talking about, Fitz and Remy and Donovan. They're in great shape, these guys. But you look like Canadian Deathmatch. There was Petey Skills, Brian Samuels, Tyler Arrow. Everyone's wrestling in T-shirts. What, the whole show's in T-shirts? You should be ashamed of yourself. As a pro wrestler, come through the curtain like Hulk Hogan or Randy Savage, take your robe off and say, look at me. I'm a superstar. That's how you have to look at this business. You want to go and do $40 bookings and do deathmatch shows because you can't get booked anywhere else. That's your business. Kill yourself. And when you're my age, you'll be walking in a walker if you make it that long. This is my thing. No gym, no booking. Fuck it.
I also-
2026.
I also want to make the point, you were talking about high school and going to the football team. Some people might throw out the excuse that, like, well, wrestling's a little bit more performative than some of those sports, but there's a reality that even in high school plays, people don't make the cut because
Correct.
they're not right for the role. They don't fit this part, and they're not talented enough. It's the reality of it.
Correct, man. You know what? You don't have to agree with me. Look,
I'm not. I'm giving my voice.
Let's look at the major promotions for a minute. Okay, the biggest promotion right now in Ontario, probably in Canada, is Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, run by Scott D'Amore. Okay? Any of these people, give me, if I'm wrong, give me one person. Scott D'Amore has been high up. Like, I know Rob Fuego told me that when they were wrestling years ago, D'Amore was like the guy that would get them all the dark matches with them. And this is going back into the 90s. So D'Amore's been around 30 years.
Hustler.
Yeah. He worked for that company that Alan McManus ran in Australia. He produced all those pay-per-views.
Okay.
I found out Scott
I
D'Amore.
didn't know that.
I think it was called World Series of Wrestling or something. They had like Bret Hart and Sting, the late 90s. Terry Taylor got him again. Then he got in with TNA at Impact. He was there off and on for the better part of 2 decades. Right? Now he's doing MLP. You got any people on MLP that don't go to the gym?
They all look great.
Well, no, I'm asking you.
Bryce, Johnny, Psycho Mike, those are the guys that come to mind.
You got
immediately.
Sheldon John is on
Sheldon
there.
Jean, absolutely.
Let's
Raj.
look at Bhupinder. Bhupinder Gujar, Indian guy,
Awesome.
lives out in Windsor. Anybody seen how jacked he is? He's not signed by anybody.
Yeah.
Not signed. He does MOP.
Which is crazy.
How come he's in the shape he's in? You know why? Because we go to the gym. It's a lot of hard work, but once you start seeing the results, like I wasn't always, an overweight, middle-aged guy. I too was in shape. Not jacked, but I was in shape. In 2006, I went to the gym, believe it or not, twice a day. I go in the morning before work. I go on my split. I felt great. I was down to 160 pounds. Now I'm like 225, 230. Right? But whatever. The whole point is, if you want to really make it in this, don't give up. Because a lot of you say, it's a lot of work. Well, then it's not for you then. You can do your $20 bookings in Sudbury or, Belleville or wherever the hell you want to go. And that's all you're going to do. But if you want to make it on television, there's only a handful of guys, and I named them already. Like, there might be a couple more, but there's a handful of people that are actually taking this serious, that want to go to the next level. Yeah. Like, you take a guy like Tarek. I don't really know him. I actually met him for the first time in October. Guy's in phenomenal shape. And I don't know how long he's been at it. He's probably been at it 15 years or so. Maybe. So you take Tarek, you take Von Vertigo, Gabriel Fuerza, Channing Decker.
Shane Saber.
You could take Saber, Chris Chambers, Jesse V. Who else? Taylor Rising, Sleasia Sparks, Alexia Nicole, any of them. Jax Williams, DeLuca Bryce. Any of them could get a call tomorrow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And would look good
enough
to be on TV.
Absolutely. They look great.
Right? So that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I hear you go, I did extra work. But yeah, but you look like a bag of shit. You could go down, I've seen Moxley did extra work. Seth Rollins did. They all did extra work before they got in there.
Yep.
But I can guarantee you, each and every one of them were ready to go. You know what I mean? If they see you and go, hey, man, you available tomorrow? I remember when I worked there years and years ago, there was some guys from Quebec. A couple of shows. There was a guy, Martin Waugh, and another guy. And I actually asked about him in New York 6 weeks ago to the Quebec guys. They know him. And they did a couple of dark man. They said, hey, come down to the States. Where you do TV? He wasn't in great shape, but he was ready to go. You know what I mean? And this is what you need. You got to be TV ready all the time.
Always ready.
This is a hard job.
Yep.
And like I brought up before, John Atlas, he's a guy that works a full-time job, married, 3 daughters, in
Grey
the
Cup
gym.
winner.
Grey Cup winner, in the gym every day.
Yeah.
every day. There's no excuse.
And it looks like it.
Yeah, but you see these kids that I work in a gym, or I don't have time to work out.
Yeah.
There's no excuse, so you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah. Now, Mike, people will take this and they will think that you're being mean, but the reality is to be successful, not just in this business, in life, in anything, you need someone to push you. And I will throw this out there. Our first episode, one of the first lines out there, Ricky Wilde, he's got a body like a bag of milk. And since that time, in a very helpful conversation with Shane Saber, I've started taking my diet a little bit more seriously. I've started working out more consistently. And there's a reality that I'm seeing changes.
But hang on. And it's not because he's doing the podcast. Ricky's a very rare guy. He's all charisma. It's like if you watch, there's a famous shoot interview Honky Tonk Man did. If you punch in Honky Tonk Man 2000, it's a great show. I think it's one of his first ones. And he delves on this. He said when he went to work for Stu Hart, he had wrestlers and he had the entertainment guy. Mm-hmm. You're the entertainment guy.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, you can come out, you can get heat, you can play babyface, you can play heel. It's a very rare thing. You're good on the mic.
Thank you.
Right, so.
But I would also throw out even the Big Show. There's a conversation between him and John Cena where Big Show said, I don't need abs, I'm a giant. And John Cena said, yeah, who would want to see a giant with abs? And then Big Show put in a lot of work at the gym. He ended up getting abs, and he looked sweet. He looked even better than he usually does.
There you go.
Absolutely.
You know? Okay, so what do you want to do? I'm sick of shitting on everybody.
Let's get into it. We're just
I don't think I'm shitting on everybody, but that's how it's going to be perceived. But we'll see. When this episode airs, you're allowed to leave your comment, or you can leave a question at clarksideofthering@gmail.com.
Clark Side of the Ring.
You know, let's see if any promoters out there. Here, I'm going to give you something. For the wrestlers and all the promoters, because I know everyone is watching this, even whether they admit it or not. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I've said. And if you disagree...
Leave a comment.
Yeah. If you disagree, tell me exactly what you disagree about. There we go.
So speaking of promoters, we actually got a couple of emails, and I would love to get into those with you. The first one here is from Sean Gibson, promoter in Barrie. Yes. Love the guy to death. I haven't read any of these, but I wanted to do it for the first time here on the podcast.
He actually hooked up to my Wi-Fi in the house, so I haven't seen it either.
Yes, I want to keep all this fresh. So here we go. This is a long one. Hi, Ricky and Mike. Sean Gibson here. 3-episode listener, first-time emailer. After 11 years in the wrestling business, I probably get to speak a little. Often I don't. That said, some talents and bookers and podcasters speak up and aren't worth the bucket cost to hit send. I think the show is great. It seems so fair, to be honest, and funny. Mike and I started off on a negative vocal foot.
Very, very negative. And it was my fault, and I apologize. It's all right now.
Which can be explained by two guys defending people or things they believe in. More people should be so loyal. It's a Rexdale trait. As Mike has stated...
Hang on. I've asked you numerous times where in Rexdale you grew up and you never told me. So maybe one day you'll DM me, Sean, and actually let me know where you grew up and what high school you went to.
Sean, we want those answers.
Yeah.
As Mike has stated, he reached out to apologize, and I accepted. It takes a big man to apologize, and it was greatly appreciated. I don't agree with all Mike says, but I respect his right to say it. I also agree with much of what he says, which I wouldn't have expected had you asked me a year ago. What I love to see is Mike speaking better about Matt Grant. I love Matt, and near everyone does.
I do too.
Me too? Yeah.
But look, Sean, I think Matt, I got him booked, as you know, on the, I'm assuming, you know, as a referee. And this is kind of a homage to Matt Grant. He didn't wear my CCW one because he used to ref. No, Matt's a great kid. He knows the way I feel about his wrestling. He knows that. But we've had a discussion, and I think Sean, too, I think I spoke with Matt about this. And I think if you think his bookings were good now, after this summer and the CNE, the sky is going to be the limit for Matt Grant.
I agree.
Believe me, I've got something new and fresh. Like, let's just tell everybody. I said to Matt when I finally met him, I said, look, I never talk bad about him as a human being.
Yeah.
The character, this. And then there's other people prodding, you know, and you get me on the wrong time and whatever.
You get riled.
I told Matt straight, this doesn't work as a wrestler. You're never going to get on TV. But, and I've always said this, you even heard me when I was shitting, you know, people, he cuts a hell of a promo. And I actually seen a promo the other day he did in front of the Paris Hotel.
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower,
Smart
which
man.
is quite unique. But what don't we see anymore? We don't see managers. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping. Matt said he's going to do it. I want to try him out as a manager, and I think he's going to be able to take this, and the sky's the limit for him because he can get all the heat, come out, get the heat for his guy at the beginning of the show. He'll come out. You could have a broomstick come out there and work the babyface with a kid like Matt Grant getting the heat. He can still take his bumps, you know? And I don't know. I think for me, that's what works for me. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Yes. All right, second half here. The people...
And I still want to know where you grew up and what high school you went to. You got my DM here. I'm waiting for you, Gibson.
The people trashing Mike need to remember a few things.
Well, who's this from, Sean?
This is still from Sean.
Oh, okay.
He's been at this longer than some of us combined. An ounce of respect needs to be given for longevity at the very least. Even when Mike and I were arguing, I always love that he runs the CNE shows. It doesn't get bigger, and I am rooting for him and his team to shine a big light on Ontario with those shows. Some of the promoters he speaks about are exactly what he says. They're trash. Ontario would be better without them. Love the episode. Here's a question. There are approximately 20 indie promotions in Ontario. I'm not including Maple Leaf Pro. They are bigger than indie. How many would you get rid of? Feel free to name them, as Ricky would love the clicks. I'd also love the bookings.
Oh, so Sean wants me to get rid of which of the 20 promotions?
Yeah.
So I've just got to guess then. Okay, I'd get rid of, well, see, here's the thing. I'm a big proponent of the athletic commission. Like, when I worked in Jack Tunney's office, it was always an athletic commission, and they oversaw everything. And I don't know, they're not involved. Like, I wish they were, because there would be very few people running wrestling shows if you had to do it legitimate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one guy, I've got full insurance. You know, I got money to put up a bond or whatever they want.
Every time I've run a show.
Promotions I would get rid of. Oh, you really know how to open up a can of worms there. I don't know. You know what? Like, people are free to do what they want. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of shady, you know. I don't know. That's, maybe Barry Wrestling. I'm only kidding. You know, Sean does a good thing, and I know. Do you know Tyler, the podcast kid from?
Yeah, Mike and Tyler.
Great guy. Well, I mean, promotions that shouldn't even be bothered. Like, I mean, I would look at promotions that I know aren't making any money, like CWO, this Northern Outlaw, this Hybrid, you know, the Canadian Death Match.
Is it safe to say that you would cast off anybody who doesn't have a ring?
Well, no, it's like I said, like a no ring show to me is just we can't afford a ring show. Right, $500-$600. Okay, we'll just fight on the floor. Whatever. I don't know who I would get rid of because I don't know enough about them. I mean, I hear rumors, but it's like Rob Fuego told me: don't believe anything you hear and believe everything you see. So it's like promoters that I've heard stuff about. I don't know, you could get rid of Pro Wrestling Eclipse, I guess, and Oshawa.
For the record, I love Pro Wrestling Eclipse.
No, I like Sean too, but he said he left, and now he's announced 2 shows, September 19th and 20th.
Sean, I'm not on those. What the heck?
He'll line himself with Emilio again, and they'll split the $1,000 and fight over it for a year. I don't know, man. I don't know who to get. But there's some. I would get rid of a few. And then there's, I don't know. That's probably it. Those 4. Hybrid, CWO. I mean, like, look, if you're running shows and not drawing anybody, like, what are you running for? Yeah. It's a wrestling business. You know what else I get rid of? Steve Brown, whatever that's called. He runs out here. What's that called?
NSW?
Oh, you get rid of that at the Optimist Club. Like I told you, Steve, next time you run a show, rent the chairs. I'll give you my dining room table. There's 6 there, and I'll give you the couch. I don't know. I'll rent it out for $25 because that's all you're going to fill. There's no point. I hate these chair show promoters. There's no point running. If you're not going to promote, you're not going to get out on the ground and put out flyers and do paid ads. Look, man, I told you, Demand Lucha ran at CWF. 48 hours, the place was completely ran.
Yeah.
Took out a couple of paid ads, and you couldn't have fit another person in there, so whatever.
All right, next question here. This is from Brian Weiss. Hey there.
Is he a photographer?
Photographer in Barrie. Other places as well, but predominantly Barrie.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I've been listening to your podcast, and it's great to see that the beef with Matt Grant is not a thing. He's always been a friend, and it did sour my opinion of Mike. As you said, people don't know other people and make opinions, so doing this podcast is a great idea to help us all get to know who Mike is and how he helped the industry. The stories from Vegas are awesome, and it was great to see all of my wrestling friends who went down there having a blast. Thanks for doing the podcast, and I look forward to the next one. Just kind words here from Brian Weiss.
No, that's fine. But see, I'm not that kind of guy. Like, there's people who say, well, you don't like him, you're not my friend. I'm not that kind of guy. There's a lot of people I talk to that nobody else talks to. A lot of people that talk to me that, wrestling's wrestling. Like, it's all bullshit. That Mike Clark, when I see him, I'm going to punch him in the face. And I walk in, hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
They pretend it was never said, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is. It's professional wrestling. It's not like my 3-year-old does ballet. If you want to do ballet, you can come Thursday nights over here on Carlton Street. Do the ballet with my daughter. 3 to 6-year-olds. You can come. I don't change my opinion. And I've heard, so how do you work with that guy? Oh, well, that guy's a piece of shit. Well, he never bothered me. It's like Zach Hipstar. And I'll stand by it. I don't talk to Zach anymore. I don't know what happened. But I stand by it, and people shit on me. Zach Hipstar, in my opinion, is the most talented guy I have ever seen in this industry in Ontario. And I'll stand by it, whether we talk anymore or whatever. He trolled everybody. Zach definitely is a different kind of cat. Oh, yeah. And I took it up the rear end for him. And I said, just watch him. And I told you 4 years ago, they closed the CNE Labor Day Monday. It was him versus Nolan. There was a TFC game. We were in a different location. There was thousands of people. They even had the horses, the police horses. And, Zach is, the problem with Zach is he doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. But, I wish there was another guy that I could get that had, whether he's a heel, a baby, Zach could be around. The second he comes out that curtain, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's very, very hard. And I know people don't like Zach. That's cool, but you can't take away from the talent. Like Mike Shea from IPW a couple years ago, I was doing Six Nations Reserve, and I put Zach versus Rhino, and Mike hates him. Mike said, man, that Zach can work.
Yeah. He
can work anybody. He can work any style, and it's a shame, I don't know what happened. He moved out here and just spun everything around. I think, he quit working his job in Toronto with my good friend. He was working there for 5 years, and he came out, and it just, totally changed. But, I'll stand by it, and me and him don't talk anymore. I've got him blocked on everything. But to me, Zach, in my opinion, in Ontario, I've never met a guy with more talent than him.
I would speak
and you don't have to like him, but the amount of talent this guy has, he can go out. We did a show in Sterling about 4 years ago at a fair. So we did Rob Rage as Hulk Hogan and Runyon as Ric Flair. And Zach came out with Runyon at the beginning of the show. Runyon's just in, Zach's getting all. By the time that crowd built up, by the time the main event came, it was incredible. Yeah. People were on their feet, and it's not because of Runyon it was all Zach. Zach was getting all the heat. It is incredible talent to be able to have, and I just wish that, I wish Zach all the best. But if you want my honest opinion, I've never met another guy in Ontario with the talent that he has.
If I could speak on Zach Atticus, sometimes I don't like his online antics, but every time I've seen him in the ring, it's phenomenal. When I was incredible. A new guy getting started, I was blown away by him. And every time I'm in the locker room with him, he's really easy to get along with. When he's online, it's a different story, but in person, I've always had good interactions with him.
Remember that there was a video I did. You weren't at the show in Mild May last year. It was Mr. Atlantis, Donovan, and they did the Bret Hart thing. Look, Dad, hip starred. He gave him the celery and Donovan. Just that kind of thing. And that's Zach. Zach has a real aptitude that I've never seen from anyone else. And I'm probably going to get a lot of heat because, we absolutely hate each other now. I don't hate him for whatever reason. He hates me, whatever. But I've never, and I'll stand by this. And Zach knows me, as well as anyone. We used to go out every Sunday when he lived in Toronto years ago for wings. And breakfast. It's a little bit upsetting that we're not friends. I really, really like Zach, and I wish him all the best and everything else. But I can honestly stand by it. And if I take it in the ass for it, so be it. Yeah. You've seen it. Other people have seen it. I've gone to bat. I've never met anybody with the aptitude and the intelligence and just knowledge of this business like him. You know, and it's sad that he's not around anymore. I actually really do miss him.
Yeah.
But onward and upward.
Yeah. Okay, one last question here. This is from Catherine Bevan. For you both. It was always said back in the day, guys like Haku and Harley Race were the legit tough guys. Aside from Iron Spartan, who are Ontario's legit guys? What do you consider a good draw these days? Will we get more Kill Rickies at Battle Arts? Who needs to retire already? Who do we miss on the Ontario scene that needs one more run? Who's overrated? Will we see any newly released talent at the CNE? Should MLP be using more Canadian talent, or is all USA names a good thing? We used to have gimmicks in wrestling like Warrior, Undertaker, Warlord, Barber, Million Dollar Man.
One question.
I got 95 here. We'll talk from the top.
I'm trying to...
Now it's generally just John Smith, just names. What makes a gimmick these days? Starting from the top, this is from Evan, even though the name's signed Catherine, I don't understand. Anyway, starting from the top, aside from Iron Spartan, who are Ontario's legit guys?
No idea. They're hard. She's right about Haku. And I'll tell you something about Harley Race. Like, I worked. He came into the WWF when I was there. He was only like in his mid-40s, but he looked really old. I had no idea until like the last 5 years that he was actually that tough. Mm-hmm. Like, look, I've gotten to see certain things in my youth with Haku and Barbarian and Rick Rude, you know, and it's stuff that a teenager should not probably grow up seeing. But
yep, absolutely.
they are legitimate. I hear these stories about Harley Race, and it's just, wow. Like I heard... there's another story. Billy Robinson was an English guy, legit guy, and Peter Maivia, The Rock's grandfather. And I heard they were in Hawaii one time, and Billy Robinson made the mistake of fucking around with High Chief. And you don't fuck with and High Chief put him right through a fucking plate glass window, right, in Honolulu or something. But I don't know in Ontario, legit tough guys in Ontario. Nobody. It's not, the business has totally changed.
Yeah.
I mean, there probably is, and I don't know them. Like, legit tough guys. I would say, look, a little known fact, Iron Spartan was actually a bus driver at the TTC many, many years ago. I'm not going to get into it. He hasn't been there in about 15 years, but yeah, I wouldn't mess with him. Yeah. I think he's a funny thing. You did your show a few months ago at Battle Arts, and you fucking dummies put Donovan in there. Donovan,
Magic of the bucket.
Donovan was screaming, and Anthony said, "Who the fuck are you? What do you guys do?" You probably got thrown out of there, right, over that.
Yeah, he got trespassed on that one.
No, but what about you?
I'm still allowed. Still welcome.
I would have messed. I don't know. Let me try and think, because there's probably somebody I'm missing. Legit tough guy to be. I don't know.
I do have a background in amateur wrestling.
I would probably. You know who
Spartan outweighs me a lot.
You know, I would probably fucking put in there against most of you guys. Jody and Sleazy, they could kick the shit out of most of you.
I wouldn't want to fight
From what I've seen.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. I'm trying to think, like, Jody's working, you know, her gym's in that Budo MMA. She's working out, doing jiu-jitsu, and I think I saw something the other day, Sleazy's doing Muay Thai, and she's jacked and all that. I think those two girls would kick the shit out of about 95% of these guys. I don't know, tough guy. Carew looks like he could probably fucking handle
Carew's
himself.
a big problem. Yep.
Nice guy.
We used to grapple a lot.
He's got that big hair, you know, like he's Kurdish.
Yeah.
He's got that big Samoan head, you know. And he was supposed to be in slap fight. I would say Carew's probably, not that I know, but if I had to go by looks, I'd put the mini Carew. You know the mini Carew? There's a KPK.
Ahmed?
I don't know. Is that him with the hair? He looks like a mini Carew.
Yeah.
He looks like he could probably fucking handle it.
I'd throw Matt Black on that list.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Is he Matt Black? You know,
Legit,
Matt Black
cool,
is in
jacked, awesome.
Matt Black's in the wrong business. He should be in the movies, that guy.
What a star.
Jesus, fuck, he looks like $1 million. He's jacked all the time. There's another guy, works a full-time job.
Yeah.
Now he's in school doing welding.
Yeah.
Completely jacked.
He gets wrestling. He gets social circles.
No
He's
excuse,
amazing.
I don't know. The Hamilton guys, there must not be a gym. So this is how it's going to work. When you come, I want to see the gym membership with your name on it. You don't borrow it from your friend. You have to have the gym membership with your name on it. I want to see you bring me a fucking calendar of the last time you were in the gym. Or there's no more bookings. Fuck this shit.
I'd also throw out, can Hulk Hogan defend himself? He was jacked at every time. He was always tan. He looked amazing. Could he defend himself?
I tell you a famous story about
love
Hulk
Hogan.
So there was a show in San Francisco at the Cow Pond, and I heard about this. It was a double shot. So it was the Legion of Doom And it was a 6-man. It was Hulk. It was Legion of Doom. And I think it was Hulk and Demolition versus Legion of Doom and somebody. And Legion of Doom had just signed with WWF. And so double shot usually worked like, on the West Coast, you probably do like Oakland and then San Fran at night. This was a night show. I don't know where Hulk was coming from. I wasn't there, but I heard this famous story. Hulk went, so Mike Chioda was the referee. And he went up and said, Hawk said to him, Hawk and Animal had just started the Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. And Hawk said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in. Animal's going to do this. Boom, boom, boom. I'll come in. Sorry, I got it totally wrong. It was Hulk and Legion of Doom versus Demolition and somebody. I believe that was Matt. So Chioda went up. Hulk wasn't there yet, Hulk Hogan. He said, what's the finish? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Animal's going to go in, get all the thing. He'll tag me in, boom. We'll do the finish, and that's it. So Hogan showed up maybe a match or two before he was still on. He said to Chioda, let me give you the finish. Mike Chioda said, I got the finish. Well, who'd you get the finish from? Well, Hawk gave me the finish. Oh, yeah, what's the finish? He told that, and Hulk went into the locker room. So he said, hey, who gave him the finish? You listen to me. This is how it works. You and him get the beating, and I come in and make the save. This is my fucking house. You don't like it? You guys step up and let's see what you can do. And the boys were saying if they hadn't started, they would have ripped Hulk limb from limb over that. But that's a story I know. Hulk was always a great guy, Hogan. And I really liked LOD, man. They were great guys, Hawk and Animal.
R.I.P. to all three.
All
right, next question. What do you consider a good draw these days? I think the question is like, how many people in the audience do you consider a good house? What's a good draw?
Well, this is another thing with Ontario. It's deceiving. Like, everybody's claiming sellout, right? They'll do a show in my living room here. There's 14 people sold out, right? They'll do a show in a Legion, sold out. Well, what's a sellout? I don't know. I think you should be getting, like, look, man, I see Demand Lucha numbers. I see Super Kicks killing it downtown.
Every time.
Yep.
Amazing.
Decker's killing it.
Yep.
C4. Smash, I think Smash does pretty good. So, I don't know. I think you should be getting 300. I think 300's a decent crowd, and that's a lot better than it was a couple years ago. If you're not getting 300, I don't know. You must be doing something wrong because all the big promotions are getting it. Maybe you got to start using guys that go to the gym.
Okay, the next question here is for me. Will we get more Kill Rickies at Battle Arts? We're allowed at Battle Arts. I would love to run more Kill Rickies. The truth is, there's not enough young talent who's willing to sign up and go through it. So we hit a bottleneck where it's the same guys every single episode. It became less fun.
Look, email in Clark's Side of the Ring and get on the Kill Ricky show. I won't be there. I've got a lifetime ban from Battle Arts from everybody's favorite Santino Marella. I'm not allowed in there, so...
Well, the good thing about Kill Ricky is we can run it anywhere and everywhere in this living room with 14 people. All right.
We can do it next door here. I got that big acre next door, empty land.
And I would love to. Okay, next one. Who needs to retire already? Who on the scene needs to retire?
Maybe Quan's old.
And it's interesting you say Quan because, again, he's one of the guys who's still jacked up, looks like a wrestler.
Yeah, no, he's still going. There's another guy, that guy, he came after me online, Hero Lee.
Okay.
He said, you bought a company and ran it into the ground. And Jay McDonald's a friend of his. And I said, well, I think you should call Jay and see if he's happy what I did with CC. I don't know. Look, man, if people are going to book them, they'll keep wrestling. Yeah. You just got to stop booking them. Book the dog. Book Jack Russell and CJ Felony from Kingston. They'll come in for a handshake and a hot dog. Book them. They don't go to a gym. Just book the dog and CJ Felony.
Okay, other side.
Top draw. I saw that chin lock. They came after me. I didn't see the dog on the poster. What happened? You took the dog off the poster. Top draw. You got to put the dog front and center. Put the dog, then Tommy Dreamer, then Rhino, then Mickey James, then Haku, or whoever you got. Put the dog front and center.
You got to be careful what you say, Mike. You try to upset these people, they're going to start doing it.
That's fine. They can do it, man.
Okay, other side of the coin. Who do you miss on the Ontario scene that should have one more run? Who's not around anymore? Who needs one more run?
Who do you think I'm going to say?
Hipstar.
No, wow. Hipstar, he left on his own. If I could see, because I never got to see him, one of my dearest friends, I'd love to see Rob Fuego.
Yes. Yes.
Rob Fuego doing, like, Rob will, him and I are like oil and water. We're best of friends, but it's like oil and water. We fight every fucking day. Because Rob sees the glass half empty, and Rob's what you call a pessimist. It's always worst. He doesn't look at the pie. It's always. I would have loved to have seen Rob. You know, he's got an incredible amount of knowledge in this business, and
So smart.
You know, I've never seen him. And a little known fact, he's never told, and I just remembered this now. Sin Bodie, Kazarni, he lives down in Las Vegas, and I get a booth every year at Cauliflower Alley. Whether I go or not, I support, and I get Jenny Santana does her thing, and Sin sells his figures. And I actually got a Rob Fuego figure few years ago. And for his birthday, and I called Sin, and he says, I don't need a picture of that J-Bro. And he goes, I know what he's doing. He sent me the doll. And I brought it to his house. I had fucking, you know, him and his wife. Wow, this is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
I really like. I would love to see Rob. Who else in Ontario?
I just want to say, for the CNE, one of the underrated aspects of it is that Rob Fuego's there a lot. He watches most of the matches.
He won't be there this year. He's in Italy for 3 weeks.
But he does generally break down, give you advice, and all that stuff is very valuable, and I do greatly appreciate it. Like,
but
he's,
the thing that
very
bothers me,
smart.
there's a lot of people that don't want his advice. You know, they don't take it. But, you know, it is what it is. So, are we wrapping up episode 4?
We still got a couple questions here.
Oh.
Who do you think's overrated on the scene?
Overrated? Who's this from? The same person?
Same person. Catherine or Evan. I don't know. They signed it from a different account that they sent it from. Whoever that is.
I don't know who's overrated. I think a lot of these kids that don't go to the gym that are, you know, getting booked. That's. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to say overrated. Like, I don't like the dog. Mike Shea loves the dog, right? It's all opinion.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, who overrates themselves is probably
Everyone.
No, not everyone. There's a lot though. There's a lot of people that overrate themselves. You know, they ask for exorbitant money, like whatever.
Yeah.
Just stay home.
All right, another question. There's a bunch of newly released people from the WWE. Are we going to see any of them at the CNE?
No.
Okay. Should MLP be using more Canadian talent, or does it not matter they're using Americans?
Well, I think they're using... No, look. I think MLP is using a lot of Canadian talent. I think people are going off this line. Now, what happened? And Scott D'Amore... Well, I'm very good friends. So Scott D'Amore and myself, there's no issue with us. We've spoken a handful of times. I really respect Scott, and I think he respects me. I have a friend, Jeff Kavanaugh, and people who have been around, he's a ring announcer. He worked for Scott.
Great guy.
And he's Scott's, like, best friend. But I consider Jeff one of my best friends, too. I talk to Jeff literally every day. He's a hero. He's been fighting cancer for a year and a half now. I tell you, I should say, but like Jeff is an old school guy and Scott's old school too. I don't even know if Scott knows his story. So when Jeff got diagnosed with cancer, he did like a GoFundMe because he can't work, you know, and he needs stuff to pay his mortgage and all that. So I donated some money. A couple of days later, I said, Jeff, he goes, hey man, what's going on? I go, you didn't die yet? I go, what the fuck are you doing here? You know, if you're not going to die, what are we donating the money? He goes, I love, like, he's an old school guy like that. Like, I talked to Jeff twice today. What would we say? The Canadian talent? No, I think they're going by the Vegas. Scott went to get a bunch of people visas, and they didn't go through in time. And the problem is, Scott's smart enough to know, well, I can't have, for instance, Johnny DeLuca, who was down there, or
was awesome.
Whoever, appear on television. Because once they go for their visa, the U.S. government knows everything. So, well, there you are in Las Vegas. No, I think there's a lot. I mean, Scott, I think, is very particular. And I mean, there's not a lot of pickings here.
Yeah.
It's slim pick. Who didn't he have? Brett Banks? Was it Brett Banks? Mike Rollins is on it. So you got Brett Banks. Mike, what? Tarek? Was Tarek on it?
Yep.
You got Reversal.
Yep.
Bryce. Johnny DeLuca.
Vertigo.
Von Vertigo. You got Bhupinder. You got
Sheldon Jean, I believe.
Sheldon Jean. So there's like 9 or 10 right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Scott would be more than willing. And I think he's got, done that Mo Jabari, the kid from Calgary?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of Canadian talent, but you know what, Scott? I know if you think I'm bad, he's worse in this business because he's been president of major companies. You don't see none of these no gym guys working for him.
And you don't make enemies or don't make nothing but friends get into a spot like that.
Well, there you go. You know, like, I mean, I'm the one guy, like, you know, I just don't give a shit. Yeah. I'll put my name on it, and I'm thinking the thing everyone else in my position is, but they just don't want to say anything. Yeah. They can't be bothered. I don't give a shit. I like spouting off and giving my opinion.
We love those opinions and you spouting off, Mike. This has been a great episode. We went way longer than we thought we were going to do on a lot of these things. So I think we have to roll forward into the next episode. But, you know, if anyone's going to give us a criticism, there's a couple of people who got big mouths, whatever. But the real criticism we've had of this episode is that there's not enough names being named. So we do have right here a big old bucket of names. And what do you think? Next episode, do you want to start pulling names and we'll talk about them?
We'll do it next episode.
Let's do it next episode.
So next week, Ricky came up with this, and I swear to you, I don't know any of the names in the bucket.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna go in blind, pick a name, and I have to give my honest opinion, right?
Wham, jam, thank you, ma'am.
Episode 5 coming up. See you soon. Let me do the Hamilton pose.
Clark side of the ring.